uh, Isaiah chapter 9 from verse... Is it up already? Okay, from verse 5. It said, every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and a fuel of fire. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and of peace there shall be no end, to order and establish it from this time forth and even forevermore. Paraphrased. I want to thank you, DP. You made a statement I want to pick from. You said the book of the Acts of the Apostles is still being written until our part is fitted in, is not complete. The gospel is... There is one gospel intertwined with 5 components. I call it the Pentagospel, okay? The first is unto us a child is... First, every battle of the warriors with confused noise. You know how, battles in those days were, they will strike you with the sword and you shout, ah! They will hit you, ah! And Isaiah saw into the future after he had an encounter with God, and he now saw the birth of Jesus Christ. So this one that is coming will be very different. The first component is, it won't just be striking and people shouting, confused noise, but it will be with burning and a fuel of fire. That's what you call the activities of, the spirit, prayer, fire, the prophetic, all right? Ministries are not just built on that. It's not completed. It's one whole package. But that's just one component, and there's some ministries that run with just that.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you guys hearing what he said? The 5 dimensions of the gospel. So you can have a role in all this. The first part is the ministry of prayer, which activates the move of the Holy Spirit. Go ahead, sir.
So this will be burning and the fuel of fire. Just one component, and there are some ministries that just run on that. Fire, 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 and all that. All right. He said, but for unto us a child is born. That is the new birth, new creation realities, grace message. So ministries also run on just that alone.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, are you hearing? After the prayer ministry, fire, even those who add further and die, and all the other ones who don't add it, after the prayer ministry, the next thing is the preaching of salvation, so that people are born again, or Jesus is born in their hearts. That's the next thing, evangelism.
And the cross, all right? The gospel of the cross is what saves us, and of course we carry it through. It's not that any part of this component is put aside, but we are building continuously. It's one package, all right? From year 1 you go until you graduate from the university. Now they say, but this unto us a child is born, so that's new creation reality. Unto us a son is given. We should go another level higher. That is what the P has been teaching. That grace is a personality. That is Jesus Christ, and He brought truth. It's truth that matures. That's sonship. You don't give your car key to a child because he's the son of the president. You've got to allow him mature. Sonship is not by birth. All right?
Are you guys hearing what he said? This is very profound. Clap or clap. This is profound. I think a book should be written on this. So, Pastor Glory, the 5 dimensions of the... you should share this when we get to P&P, please, sir. See, after prayer, and so that the Holy Spirit does his part, the second stage is evangelism, getting people born again, and you have a lot of new believers in the faith. After that, the third stage is growing those babies to become sons, matured people. That's where discipleship and sonship development comes. Are you seeing what is that? This one is not by being born. This one is by being developed, by training, by subjecting yourself to training, and you grow to maturity. That's the third stage. Let's wait for the 2 more stages.
So that as discipleship and leadership development is this final stage that is now given the 4th stage, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. And this brings us to what the P said, that the book of Acts of Apostles will not be complete until our component comes in. Now, the gospel of the kingdom is what, especially at the time we're talking about coronavirus, what's happening, when people see videos of of the conspiracy that's going on, their heart begin to fail them. No, your heart should not fail you. This is the finest moment for the church. The truth of the matter is that the church, the organism that's going to confront this monster that is being raised up is the church with the gospel of the kingdom.
So, ladies and gentlemen, have you seen the fourth stage? The fourth stage is not to preach salvation. We have preached salvation. People have given their lives to Christ. And now they have been discipled. And those that are now matured, God now starts giving them dominion. Government shall be upon his shoulder. God is not going to give, did you hear what he said? God is not going to give dominion to a baby. A child is born. God is going to give dominion to a son. Somebody that has matured. So this is where the gospel of the kingdom, the dominion mandate comes in. God can entrust you with political leadership, with economic, with impact, ability to impact your society. You see that stage. Let me see the final stage.
Okay. And before I go to the final stage, I want to say this monster that is breathing now is for God's finest moment of glory and the finest moment of honor for the church. There's a church being prepared to confront it and to be confronted from all angles of the kingdom gospel, including force. Not only economically, not only spiritually, educationally, health, and all that component. Also force. There's the force component. These people, they are human beings born by women. We are born by women, not cows. They are human beings possessed by evil spirits. Some of you are even more intelligent than them when we were at school. We have the Holy Spirit. Now, they are just synergizing to form a kingdom, to form a government, to enthrone Satan, as king of this world. We are expected to say no. Psalm 110 verse 1, he said, sit down, the Lord said unto my Lord, sit down at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool. That's where we are now. He said, how are you going to do it? He said, the Lord will send the rod of thy strength out of Zion to rule down in the midst of thine enemy, that people shall be willing in the days of thy power, in the beauty of holiness. That has the dew of their youth. The Lord sworn, I will not change his mind. That art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Jesus is sitting now resting. He's relaxing to clap for you. And the church in Africa, I want to say one thing from what you said. Joseph, the African component was engraved into this whole program of salvation. The day Jesus was going to the cross, Joseph of Arimathea, Joseph of Cyrene, the Libyan, was the one. That same day, he carried his cross. Also, this same Joseph, the stepfather of Jesus, was instructed to take Jesus to Egypt for protection when his life was in danger. Africa is part of the component. Don't just look down. Don't look at yourself down. We're actually the one now to lead this move. This move, gospel of the kingdom, is now being spearheaded by the church in Africa. And it will be fierce. They will see ruggedness. The rugged spirit of the African. They will be confronted the way the sons of Maccabees did to the Antichrist. There have been several Antichrists. And he said, I will send the rod of thy strength out of Zion. You know what rod is? Rod is for flogging. These people, they are misbehaving. They are going to be flogged. They are going to be punished. You've not seen things here. They are going to be fought. Groups are going to emerge like the sons of Maccabees and take these guys up. The Bible said they will not be able to, we will stop them. When the Bible said, only he that letteth until he's taken out of the way.
Until he's taken out of the way.
It's not just because the Holy Spirit is in us, and because of that, just restrain the demons in them. Not just that. We will stop them. We will say no.
Ladies and gentlemen, what he's talking about is this gang up of wicked people in the last days.
The globalists.
To the globalists, to put the rest of the world into. So we are going to be talking about that. Make sure you tune in, no matter where you are watching, make sure you tune in to the prophetic conference from 28 December to 31st. Make sure you join and share the eagle's food. Okay, Pastor Glory, what will be the final one?
The final one.
Of the increase.
Of the increase of his government and of peace there shall be no end.
Of the increase of his government.
Of his government
and peace.
There shall be no end.
Upon the throne of
David and upon his kingdom, to order and establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth and even forevermore, the zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform it. What the world never saw before, what the world would have experienced if Adam and Eve had not fallen, God is going to showcase it during the millennium, the millennial reign of Christ. And it's the foretaste of that millennium the church is going to demonstrate to the world. The Bible described the end story, said this is called the glorious church. We'll be raptured victorious. After a fight, there'll be bloody nose. Are you getting my point? Are you getting my point? The Antichrist can show up, and we are ready to confront him and his guys. They've already been here doing things. So don't be afraid about the mark of the beast. Don't be afraid about COVID. They're all planned. We're going to see more of it, in prayer and prophetic conference. We are going to demonstrate a foretaste of what the world is going to see during the millennium now before we are raptured. The Lord bless you. Thank you so very much, my people.
Okay. You guys can see what I'm talking about. The first is prayer, is the foundation of ministry. If God gave you any ministry, the foundation is laid with prayer so that the power of the Holy Spirit will come, fire. Then, the second, you start with preaching the cross, the gospel of salvation, so that people will come to Christ and be saved. And when people get saved, they are like new babies. The third stage is now getting them matured, discipled. You start training them and maturing them to become sons and not to be babies. And when they grow to become sons, they are leaders that God can use. Then the fourth stage is dominion will start coming. They need to start taking responsibility for what's happening in the world, for society, different spheres of society. That's when God can honor and promote them into positions of influence. Discipleship comes before dominion. And then right after that, the final phase is that Jesus is going to return and set up his kingdom. The second coming of Christ is the last phase of the gospel. If you preach this 5 dimensions, you have preached the full gospel. Don't just preach that Jesus came. Preach that he's coming again. The second coming of Christ, and then he's going to establish his kingdom here on earth. And even before he does, the church will give the world a foretaste of that glory to come. God bless you. God bless you.